Hey, what's up? And welcome into Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast and checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com. While you're here, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe and comment as we do our Under the Hood post-game show. The Bears lose to the San Francisco 49ers by a score of 42-38. We hope to hear from Ben Johnson, the head coach for the Chicago Bears, after this game. We're presented by the fine folks over at Triller TV. Triller TV, go and download Triller TV, the best in pro wrestling as well as MMA and combat sports. It is Triller TV. That's where you go for the best. TrillerTV.com and, of course, Triller TV, the app. What a ball game we just saw with the Chicago Bears against the San Francisco 49ers. 42-38 is the final. And if you've listened to me once on the Cap and J Hood Morning Show on ESPN 1000, also download the ESPN Chicago app, you've heard me say since July that I've had a problem with this defense, with the Chicago Bears defense. It is a shame that unofficially Caleb Williams finishes 25 for 42. We've been waiting for that 300-yard game. How about 330 yards for Caleb Williams, along with a couple of touchdowns? And the Chicago Bears, with a tremendous, fabulous effort offensively, lose at the very end. They went down fighting, but unfortunately, the defense did not make enough plays, didn't make any plays to be able to help the offense. Isn't that something? This is a game in which I did not expect a shootout between the 49ers and the Bears, but we got it because the Bears offense exploited Rob Salah's defense in a big way. And I couldn't be happier for Caleb Williams and the offense because they came up big. Time and time again, they answered the challenge. When the defense laid down and played the way they did, the Bears defense, the offense of the Bears was able to come through. Couldn't be happier for the running game. Probably should have ran the football a little bit more to slow down the clock. I know there's a pass-happy offense at times, even though the thought is, well, the Bears love to run the football. Not enough for me. 22 carries, good for 110 yards total. A couple of touchdowns for DeAndre Swift. 9 carries, 54 yards, unofficially a win for the box score to refresh. But what I have in front of me right now, Kyle Monangai, 8 carries, good for 38 yards. Caleb Williams ran the football 5 times for 18 yards. And so 110 yards total. And through my timeline, people are saying, hey, can we run the football more? Can we do that? Yeah, I'd love to see the Bears run the football more in that spot. If nothing else, to be able to slow down the clock and dictate the pace. There were so many holes, though, defensively for the 49ers that Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams wanted to exploit it. And by the way, no shade, because the Bears scored a ton of points. What we've been asking for a lot this season is to score quickly and score often. And so just to have a 14-14 tie in the first quarter, I'm like, whoa, that's a flurry of points in the first quarter. Then add another 14 in the second quarter, I'm like, yeah, we're cooking with gas right now. But I love that the Bears had some fight. It wasn't the struggle bus like it is for the Bears offensively, where, are you going to score just in the fourth quarter? Are you going to score in the first, second, and third quarter? The answer is yes, yes, yes to all of that. The Bears were able to score all throughout the game, and it came down to that last few seconds, and the Bears could have had another comeback victory. But you see, the Bears offense did the job. Yeah, you might be salty that the Bears lost the game, but the Bears offense did the job. We wondered, could the Bears be able to spread that offense across 4 quarters? They did. And again, couldn't be happier for what the offense did. But I take a look at the last series for the Bears. The hallmark of the last series for the Bears was that the rookies, whether it's Loveland with his first drop as a rookie, and then Burton with an opportunity to catch the ball in and out of his hands on 3rd and 5, God, that sucked, right? You just wanted the Bears to be able to just keep it tight in the last series. I have it in front of me because I wrote it on Threads. The drop by Loveland, big, but it's no big deal, right? 1st and 10, you want him to catch that ball. He's been shorthanded the entire season. He dropped in a big spot. 2nd and 10, Komet is incomplete with 109 remaining. And then 3rd and 10, Burton, that first down, what a catch and a juke by Burton. That's why he's on this football team. It's the hands, but also the ability to shimmy and shake to be able to get loose, to be able to get a first down. 1st and 10 with Burton, and then incomplete to Duvernay. Couldn't get the ball, get enough on that throw. I heard what Collinsworth said. He criticized Caleb on that throw. Caleb just didn't have enough as he was off balance to try to get enough on that throw to get to Duvernay. So I don't criticize Caleb for that. He was criticized on the broadcast. I don't agree with that. It just wasn't enough on that throw because he was off balance. So couldn't get enough there. 3rd and 5, Burden in out of his hands. Burden's got to catch that ball. Just like Loveland had to catch the ball before, you got to catch that ball if you're Burden. And then 4th and 5, Loveland with a big play, right? Big play for Loveland on 4th and 5. A throwaway, Loveland and Swift in a hook and ladder. Another play I did not expect. The hook and ladder administered by the Bears, and you're getting closer, right? Now you get the first down. Now there's a spike. And then the 4th down, the incompletion in the ball game. As Caleb Williams tried to keep the play alive, trying to get to Jade Walker, and Bears fall short, 42-38. So, again, hats off to the offense for what they were able to do. Hats off to Ben Johnson for being able to exploit Rob Sala's defense. But the defense, especially the linebackers in the secondary, were absolutely horrible in this game. Horrendous. That was an opportunity to win that football game, and the defense let down. And I've been wondering, would we see a defense and a defensive effort as bad as the Detroit game? We saw it tonight against San Francisco. Again, this is the Under the Hood post-game show. We will read your comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. What we do here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Also, by the way, we've got merchandise as well. In the bio of this podcast, whether you're listening to it or watching on YouTube, we have got merchandise. We've got trucker hats, and we've got the beanies, and we've got, oh, yes, to keep yourself warm. We've got the mugs as well. And don't forget also, hey, guys, protect your hoodies at all costs. We've got hoodies and we got t-shirts as well. It's Under the Hood merchandise. It's available in my link tree, so check it out. And we appreciate your support and just liking and subscribing to Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. It's a tough way to lose the football game, but I take solace in the fact that the offense came through. As I always do with our post-game shows with the Chicago Bears, we bring in my crazy cousin, Cousin Wiley, as we talk about the Bears and their loss against the 49ers, 42-38. Cuzzo, thanks for joining us.
So close.
Yeah.
So close, and yet so far away. 500 yards of offense the defense gave up. Yeah. You're not going to win many games when your defense gives up 490-plus yards and 42 points. What was encouraging about the ending was that the offense was still able to put up points, and we were in a position once again to win the game at the end. Tough loss, but I think it's a lot to be encouraged by. And if the Bears can clean up some things defensively and still make some improvements on offense, like Biggie, LL, or even Led Zeppelin, they will be going back to Cali in February. So that's the hope.
Yeah, hopefully if they do go to Cali, they'll leave the defense in Chicago, because the defense does not travel. Doesn't travel. It was Wiley. It was the shits. Like it's bad. So it starts with a lot of guys on defense. I will give Booker credit, because if someone's going to get a game ball out of this thing, give Booker credit for being able to deflect a couple of passes of Purdy and also getting a sack. So he's the only one with a heartbeat out there. Did Montez Sweat dress? Was he out there tonight? I was just wondering. Was he inactive? Was he out there because?
No, he was taking in the sights of San Fran.
Well, it had to be because Edmonds and Edwards were not good. Give Shanahan a lot of credit too. He said, "Oh, we got some slew-footed linebackers that are going to miss their spots. They're just like, they don't know if they need to go in the backfield. They don't know if they need to be in their slot, at the linebacker slot. They were all over the place. They looked uncomfortable, and they looked out of place, the defense, especially the linebackers. So I know that someone will download the box score. It says, oh, Edmonds and Edwards, they led in tackles. Yeah, you'd have to when the play's behind you. You'd have to be able to lead in tackles. That was just a horrible effort by the defense. It's what I've been harping on for a lot of the season here. And I didn't think that we have the kind of defense that we had against Detroit, where you just let go of the rope and you got your ass whooped. But this is pretty close, right? Here's a team here that was missing weapons offensively, and Brock Purdy was just able to sit back there and pitch and catch and can run for first downs because the defense was out of sorts. They were on roller skates. You're supposed to bring your cleats, and they brought roller skates to the game. So what pisses me off about it is that You ruined a great offensive effort by the Bears. And by the way, don't know if you're going to get that again. Don't know if you get that against Detroit. Don't know if you get that in the playoffs because maybe defenses play a little tighter against the Bears offense. But I just thought defensively, that's the reason why the Bears lost the football game. It's too bad because everyone's been talking about, oh, will Caleb ever get over 300 yards? Well, you got it tonight. But also on the back end, the Bears give up 303 yards receiving and another 200 as far as San Francisco's running game with McCaffrey. You get what you get when your defense is that bad.
No, it was tough to watch because in the first half you had a Bears defense that gave up 330 total yards and 173 yards rushing against a team that hasn't run the ball well all year. So when you're seeing something like that wasn't encouraging. And granted, when it comes to yards, they were better in the second half, but when they needed to get a stop, just needed to get that one stop to put the game away. They gave up a quick touchdown. And then early in the season, you could blame and say, hey, you know what? We got the practice squad guys and, there are a bunch of injuries. No, this was a game where the guys who needed to make plays and who didn't were the starters. You had Edmonds, and to your point, Edwards out there just getting their ass handed to them. Yeah, it started well with the pick six, but after that pick six, defensively, it was a rough night. It was a rough night.
Yeah,
no excuses.
I don't want to hear your usual bullshit lament of poor Dennis Allen tonight. I ain't gonna listen to it tonight. Like you do that like other games. Poor Dennis Allen. What he's worth. No, the scheme was there. You had healthy players. They were ineffective. And by the way, it made it feel like San Francisco's on another level. The way that the Bears defense played, it did. It was automatic for San Francisco to score. It's what Collinsworth said on the broadcast. If the Bears kick a field goal, San Francisco is going to win the game. And that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what you had to score. When you had that field goal, you actually had to score 7 there because you knew the defense of the Bears was no good, and then San Francisco would have to find a way to win the football game. But even with that, Caleb had you right there. Iceman was right there. He was very close. It went down to the last play. I can take solace in that. I can smile and say, boy, that's a great offensive effort by the Bears. But it could have been a W if it wasn't for that shitty defensive effort by the Bears tonight. Bottom line.
I agree. And I mean, I do take some solace in the fact that the Bears were in position to win the game again.
Yeah.
But, if just being honest, that last play call was shit, Cuzzo. Like that last play call was shit. He may have had Swift right away if he would have thrown the ball to him right away. But outside of throwing the ball to Swift right away, there was nothing available. There was nothing for him to manufacture. There was no plays to be made. So your last play of the game at the goal line, I need Ben Johnson to call something better than that, where it's really no options. Other than, like I said, there was Swift possibly, if he threw the ball right away, he gets Swift, but outside of that, it was nothing there. You had Trent Williams out after the first play for the game, and you had no pass rush. And even when you got a pass rush, Purdy made Booker look silly. He made so many guys look silly. And he won the game for that offense. He won the game for the 49ers offense in large part by himself, by just making plays, keeping plays alive, and he made the Bears defense look silly. And, I usually, like used to your point, I used to say, God bless Dennis Allen, but I thought Dennis Allen played zone a little bit too much. He played zone a little bit too much in that game, which gave Purdy time to just find the opening and just pick the Bears defense apart. And he did that repeatedly, which, at some point you have to change it up. Blitz, do something different. And I didn't see a coordinator that was changing things. I saw a coordinator that had a game plan of like, hey, we want to keep every play in front of us. And that works well when you're talking about a quarterbacks, who may struggle if you give him a bunch of plays. But with a guy like Purdy, he's perfectly fine with dinking and dunking and taking whatever you give him while you're playing zone, because he's an accurate passer. And that's his game. So for me, you had to change some things up, and Dennis Allen didn't do that at all that game. And then
Well,
coming down to the last play of the game, our guy Ben Johnson, we need something better. We need something better than
oh,
it was rushed too. If you look at the replay, it was like a second on the clock, on the play clock, so it was kind of rushed. We need something better than that.
well, I would say that offensively speaking, especially toward the end of the game, maybe a quicker timeout, your first timeout you could utilized. He didn't do that. But that's not the backbreaker of the game. It's not. That's not the backbreaker of the game, Wiley. The backbreaker of the game is that a scheme or not, that defense did not wrap up and do the fundamentals. Before we get into scheme, before we get there, let's talk about how you do arm tackles and you don't wrap up. This is an old school rant that many have that's been watching football for a long time, talking about you practice how you play. You go to House Hall and take a look at how the team practices, right? It's not what they used to do and like wrap up and the way the Bears approached McCaffrey. I know it's hard for him to take him down or take some of these 49ers down. The point is, though, that arm tackling won't get it done. Gang tackling won't get it done. Being able to do it properly, that's how you're able to get it done. It would be amazing to take a look at the numbers of the initial contact from the Bears defense, and yet how many more yards that was given to 49ers receivers and weapons because the Bears did not wrap up, because they were not working one-on-one, taking care of their gaps, not working on their gaps as far as a unit is concerned. I'd love to see how many more yards the Bears gave up because of that, and just so, it's really a shame because I thought that the offense deserved better. This is one of those things that I'm mad about, but I know that team is so together, it won't divide them. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, if I'm Caleb, I'm like, well, damn, like I finally was able to break through, but yet we fell short. So now you just have to lick your wounds and get ready for Detroit. But the point is, while that don't change that defense. Now it might be bend don't break for a while, like they did against the Green Bay Packers, where hey man, they hung in there, they bent but did not break. They gave up one touchdown against Malik Willis, and they were able to win the football game because of comebacks. But here's the point. If your defense is stout, you don't have to worry about coming back in games. So that's the whole thing about this, right? So you've had 6 comeback wins. Some of that's because the defense did not play well. So like, you don't have to have comebacks if the defense does their job. And it comes back to this. What's the Bears defense without takeaways? Who are they? That's the big question.
Yeah. I mean, they struggle, especially against the run. And I thought today would be a game where a 49ers offense that had been struggling to run the ball, the Bears will be able to hold up. But they didn't. And as my guy right here says, the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. And that was tough. And what made it suck a lot, Cuzzo, is that the entire team pretty much had the flu. So
yeah, well,
you're going to this game and you're battling. You're getting ready. You have an opportunity to beat a team at home, who hadn't punted in over a month. You made them punt twice, but then you, outside of those 2 punts, you gave up touchdowns on virtually every other drive, and that you're not going to win many playoff games doing that. And the excuse of injuries were out the door because you were healthy for the most part on the back 7. So like there was no reason to make some of the same mistakes repeatedly and give Purdy the opportunity to pick the team apart. And yeah, we have to figure out some things defensively if we plan on having a long playoff run. But offensively, yeah, there was a lot to be encouraged by.
Yeah, I mean, just all I could tell you is that I don't expect the Bears to be able to give up that kind of offense and that kind of production against Detroit or going into the playoffs. I don't. But some of that you're going to see because some of that is the same players that we've been seeing. So that's the whole thing. Like, will the Bears give up 303 yards receiving and 200 rushing against one of the playoff teams? Yeah, probably not. But here's the thing. That some of that letting go of the rope defensively from the linebackers into that secondary, that will be a problem. Like, I was excited that C.J. Gardner-Johnson stepped in there. I'm like, another INT. Oh, a penalty, right? the veteran tried to do something kind of slick, and there was a penalty. We could always talk about ticky-tack calls, but you also make your own breaks, Wiley. You make your own breaks. I got some of that on social too. It's like, a couple of bad calls. Rookie official. He was I think he was a judge before he became a referee. This is his first year. That's not the point. You make your own breaks, especially defensively, and the Bears didn't do that. And please leave your comments. Like, share, and subscribe. We're doing Under the Hood with Jonathan. If you're here for the first time, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe because there's plenty on Under the Hood that we cover here on not just the Bears, but college football and the NBA and college basketball and everything else. So keep it right here Under the Hood with Jonathan. We're going to hear from Ben Johnson in a little bit, but yeah. So no excuses for your guy Dennis Allen. That doesn't that doesn't get better, Wiley. I'm just here to tell you. It doesn't get better. You're not shutting out anybody with this defense. Because again, if you don't have a pass rush and if you're not making plays in the secondary, so where's the in-between game? Where's the 3 and outs on a regular basis? You didn't have it against this 49ers team. Where was the 3 and outs on a regular basis? Because the defense sucked tonight.
No, and it did. And it did against a unit who, outside of Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, they didn't have much. So this wasn't a juggernaut offense where you're like, okay, look at all the weapons they have all over the field. It was pretty much Purdy and Christian McCaffrey and Tongas, like a backup tight end who, didn't touch a ball until, Cattle was out earlier this year. So Dennis Allen, and more so than Dennis Allen, the players. These players are getting paid a lot of money. Edmonds is getting paid a lot of money. Jalen Johnson is getting paid a lot of money. They have to make plays. Sweat is getting paid a lot of money. Has to make a play. And if you can't switch sides, so you see Trent Williams go out, why can't you go to the right side and rush from the right side? Why do you always have to rush from the left edge? That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Like when you're getting paid $20 million a year. So I'm not expecting the defense to give up 40 points a game in the playoffs. I would like to believe they can be better. But what I saw tonight wasn't encouraging when you started playing against some of the upper echelon quarterbacks in the NFL. Because if you're playing that soft, we're going to get our head kicked in a lot, or possibly be 1 and out. So I'm hopeful, we can figure it out, self-scout, whatever it takes to get better. But tonight was rough.
Yeah, we have someone that says that the defense, they've been so many defensive games where they've shined. The game was all offense. Many games that the Bears shine defensively. Many. I don't think it's been many. I think there's been some takeaways, but as far as a team that just overwhelmed an offensive line, the Browns game? I mean, it counts like the other regular season games, but don't give me like the Steeler game. Is that where what games have they shined defensively? The offense has shined because they've come back in games. They shined tonight. We've had some good games, but no, the defense has not shined like the offense has, not on a regular basis. So we're going to hear from Ben Johnson, the head coach for the Chicago Bears. I'm sure that he can't be happy. And I saw him on the sidelines, Wiley. We were watching it, just like, he has to be stoic because one of those questions is going to be, how are you feeling inside when that last try? How did you feel? Just how did you feel, Ben Johnson? Did you feel okay? Well, I'm sure it'll be one of those questions in the press conference. So let's hear from the head coach for the Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson, his thoughts as the Bears lose to the 49ers 42-38. We're presented by Triller TV. They're good friends over at Triller TV, as you well know, the best in combat sports. Go to Triller TV. Go to their site for pro wrestling and for mixed martial arts and for boxing, not only in the United States, but also internationally. They got great stuff over there at Triller TV. All right, Cuzzo, you ready to hear from Ben Johnson? You want to know what he says? All right,
sure.
Let's go to Ben Johnson, the head coach for the Bears. Bears lose to the 49ers. Bears in a heartbreaking loss in the Bay Area.
That's a tough one for our guys. It's somewhat similar there to the Green Bay game a few weeks ago, just in terms of coming down to the last minute and last play of the game and just coming up one play short there. So, the first half certainly didn't go the way we wanted it to as a team. They controlled the ball. They did a good job building the lead there, down by 7 at halftime. We couldn't stay on the field on offense. We were 0 for 3 on third downs. They were 5 for 7 on third downs in that first half. And yet, second half, I did feel like we picked up our game a little bit as a team. And, we closed that gap and we made it to where we could potentially win that thing there at the end. So was proud of the guys for that. But it just wasn't enough. And when you go on the road against a good team like that, you got to be on top of your mess the entire time. And we just weren't. Some good performances there, notably by our rookies. Luther had a huge game for us. Colston had a big game for us. Thought Caleb played pretty well for the most part, taking care of the football and throwing it accurately. So that was good to see. The pick 6 by TJ was huge to get us going. You could really feel the sideline come alive there, get us into the game. And so even though our offense was a little bit hit or miss there in the first half, that helped contribute some points to the cause. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up.
Ben, Luther got hurt there at the end.
I don't have an update on that yet. Yeah, I just heard that.
On the final play, what is kind of supposed to happen if everything works out?
Yeah, we didn't quite get aligned in the formation we wanted to. It's on me. I didn't give him the call fast enough, and so he's trying to piecemeal it together. I got to do a better job on that.
What was your perspective? The lateral play there, the one like 2 plays.
I couldn't really see. Yeah, I was on the other side of the field.
With that play in that situation, obviously, there's a possibility he gets tackled in bounds. But are you, when you call that, you're okay with the? Yeah.
You're not.
There's
plenty of time. We got plenty of good plays.
You talk about Caleb, just the way he battled from the early slow start and was kind of able to go almost shot for shot with Purdy in a sense. What stood out to you just about the way he was able to scoring for you guys?
Yeah, no, he knew he needed to come out and make some plays for us here tonight. When you're going against a dynamic offense like that, we talked about the possibility as an offense, us going tit for tat with them, and we at times were able to answer that call. They just ended up making more plays than us.
I was on the field, I think, almost 22 minutes in the first half. What was kind of the message about trying to get them off quicker in the second half?
Yeah, well, I mean, part of it, it's a two-headed problem there, because you got us not being able to stay on the field on offense to where they weren't able to get off the field on third downs on defense. And so that's really how I saw it. It came down to the third downs.
It seemed like Purdy had a lot of time to throw. Just from what you can diagnose with the pass rush, what do you think was some of the issues with that tonight?
Yeah. He's a dangerous player, particularly when he can see down the field and have that much time. I agree with you. And then he extended some of those plays with his legs too, and he did a real nice job. And we certainly didn't affect him enough.
The free play touchdown came through to Colston. What did you like about how he just handled that and how the guys handled that whole situation?
Yeah, it's something we talked about going into the week, and we repped it again this morning in our walkthrough, and guys understood what we were trying to get done on that, and so it was really well executed.
The challenge this week with the illness going through the building, it happens, but how did you feel everybody kind of managed it and dealt with it?
Yeah. I mean, we all understand that if someone has to go down because they're sick, that someone else has to step up, and we did the best we could as a organization in terms of trying to stop it. From masks to washing hands to being diligent that way. But it certainly did a number on our guys. But we felt good about the guys that we went to the game with. They were going to be able to play like they're 100%.
Let's say about Darnell to fly out here this morning and play full game the way
he was excited. He came in this morning and he had a big smile on his face. Hey, you can't hold me back from this one, he said. So that was good to see.
All right, so there it is, some of Ben Johnson and his press conference as he spoke to the media, challenging somebody from the media, Cuzzo, Like, did you not like the play or whatever the hell he was saying? Like, that's not for the media to say. Like that's not the point. Anything that stood out to you? He owned up to what you talked about, right? That last play, you want something better. He said, that's on me. Put it on himself to start off the press conference.
No, I appreciate that, but as a fan, I still want better because the Bears' last 2 drives, they were in the red zone. I think they were at the 4-yard line and the 2-yard line, and we came away with 3 points total. So if you find a way to punch the ball into the end zone, then we're talking about a different result. So you can't, especially against a team that's scoring the way at will, the way the 49ers were, you can't have 2 possessions to end the game in the red zone and get 3 points. That's not acceptable for the offense. And I know we're asking the offense to do a lot, but obviously Ben was brought here to, help an offense score points. And the offense was scoring points, but when we needed to score touchdowns the most, we ended the last 2 drives in the red zone with 3 points total. So, he took responsibility for the mistake, but we still got to do better overall. You got to do better. You got to find a way to do better.
He could take responsibility, but ultimately it's Dennis Allen's defense, but it's his defense as well. To my Ben Johnson's defense too. And so like you want to, the Bears have done so much this season to come back in football games. So we're asking Caleb Williams to pull the rabbit out of the hat one more time, even though he's done it a half dozen times. It shouldn't have to come to that, Wiley. That's the whole point of this, is that, yeah, he says that I could have gave him some better. They didn't get lined up the way they wanted to, and still kept the play alive, and just, and it came up short, kind of like Josh Allen in the game against the Bills. It just came up short. Same thing with the throw he tried to throw to Ja'Day Walker at the end, just came up short. But it should not come to that. That's the whole point of this, is that he went step for step with Brock Purdy offensively. And it came down to the last play because the defense didn't do their job. The defense should feel bad going on the plane tonight, that because they didn't hold up their brothers in arms offensively. They should feel bad about how they played. And so, like I said, this will be the worst I think that they'll play. They're not going to completely let go of the rope in the last game of the regular season or in the playoffs. But there's a lot for Allen to be able to review on film when they get back to Chicago. When they get back to Lake Forest, they should break all that down. You don't throw that film away. You show how shitty they were. You have to do that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see that since the Detroit game, the way that they played.
No, you do. And like from the untimely penalties, like there was a terrible hands to the face penalty by Dexter that would have had it would have been 3rd and long, and instead they get a free first down on that last drive. So there was a lot of blame to go around, especially defensively. But you got to find a way to win another game, because second place in the number 2 seed is still on the line. So you got to find a way to win a game in Detroit to lock down a number 2 seed, so you can at least have home field advantage if possible until the NFC Championship game. So like they still have something to play for. So there's going to be work needs to be done. I'm not sure what's going on with Luther Burden. Yeah. He seemed to have some injuries, so I'm not sure if you've been able to check it out yet. But he had some lower body injury that hit him on the field on his knees after the game. So hopefully he's better, because he was a difference maker. He was a difference maker this offense has needed for a while. Dynamic, making guys miss. There was one drop, but it didn't make a huge difference in the end.
Yeah, E. King says that he's not blaming the secondary for this game. He's blaming the defensive line, the pass rush. I'm blaming it all phases, and the coaches will tell you that in an honest moment, that it's everybody. There is no blame pie. Well, the secondary's fine, but the linebacker, they all were out of place. They all were at fault. I watched the game, and the coaches watched the game as well. It was everybody. It wasn't just one unit. It's the entire unit that did not make enough plays to be able to get San Francisco off the field. So that this idea that is just one unit. Now, linebackers definitely Edmonds and Edwards were on roller skates. I don't know what are we in Markham? We're at the roller rink. We on 87th Street because that's what it looked like,
Right.
that they were at the roller rink. Like what is this, right? So I mean, Ravi, let me tell you something. You say he's a nice rotational defensive end, not a full-time starter. All I can tell you is that he's the only guy with a heartbeat. You say what you want. You can do your eval if you like about Booker. All I'm telling you is that in this game, he's the only one that, to me, that stood out, that was actually making plays. So however you want to designate him is fine, but he's making plays.
He had a great motor. He obviously left a couple plays on the field by not being able to get a hold to Purdy. But to your point, he was the only guy on the defensive line, who tried to show up tonight. Still wasn't good enough, but from Sweat to Grady Jarrett to Dexter and everyone else who filled in, there was a lot of suckage going around. So, yeah, it has to clean up quickly if they plan on winning any games in the playoffs.
Tyler says we don't suck. He says a lot of suckage to go around. He says we don't suck. No, the Bears don't. No, they don't. But the defense played poorly, and it has to be called out. You can still be a Bears fan and say that the team doesn't suck. That's fine, but you call it as you see it. Bears lost the game because the defense did suck. Team doesn't suck because obviously the offense did the job. Special teams did the job. I am concerned about Luther Burden, as you mentioned. We'll find out more tomorrow morning as I team with David Kaplan on the Cap and Jared Morning Show. We'll hear from Courtney Cronin, maybe, on that cross-country flight. We're going to find out, but we'll find out what's going on, at least on Monday, what's going on with Luther Burden. I'm usually this guy, because as you well know, that if I don't see you on the field, I don't miss you. I got a little coach in me in that regard. Move the drill. He can't play. He can't help us. Move the drill. But Luther Burden brings a little shimmy, a little shake that no other wide receiver has in his football team. Oh, by the way, we should go through the numbers in a second, but I just want to give Luther Burden his flowers, because when you need a first down, it's more than just third down, crucial spot. He gives you a little shake and gives you a little miss. So if defenders are missing him and he gives you a few more yards, I'll take that, because no one on the football team does that. Maybe a healthy Roma Dunze, but definitely Burden has something a little bit different than some of the other receivers on the football team.
No, he's their most dynamic receiver. One, he catches almost everything that comes his way. 8 receptions. I think there were 9 targets. There was that one drop. 17 yards per catch. Like, we're not getting that production from Adunze and anyone else this season. So, like, he's a difference maker on offense when it comes to the receiving position.
Yeah, we appreciate, by the way, that we have super chats. And please, if you have a super chat, we'll put you right to the top. We have one here from our guy, Eric Collins, who I've broken bread with over the years for many, many years. EC says he loves the content. So thank you very much for your $2 donation. When we go live, we do have super chats. So thank you, Eric, for reminding me to remind everyone that we have that. And again, we appreciate your donation to Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. We'll bring you right to the top. I'm getting used to all of this, as Wally would tell you. So thank you, EC, for just checking in with your super chat. Yeah, no question that when we look at the numbers of the Bears offensively, because we haven't broken down those individual numbers just as of yet. Let's take a look here. We've got Luther Burden. Man, Wiley, 8 receptions, 138 yards, and a touchdown for Luther Burden. Let me just stop right there. That's outstanding. And I'm not trying to fast forward through the year, but he's going to be the guy one day on the other side of Roma Dunze, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Restaurant quality.
Oh, my God. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see. We got Colston Loveland, 6 receptions, good for 95 yards and a touchdown. Loveland had his first drop of his career, but he was targeted 10 times and was giving you quality offensively. Johnny Walker, 2 for 30. DeAndre Swift, 2 for 24. Again, 330 yards receiving for the Bears on 25 receptions Again, a couple of touchdowns out of that from Burton and Loveland. It's just kind of weird. I mentioned this at the top as you were coming on, Cuzzo. Like, look at these guys combined 19 targets, well over 200 yards combined, and 14 receptions. But yet, when you needed them at the end, they looked like rookies because they dropped the ball. Like Loveland, that sucked.
Yeah.
And then Burton also. And it's just kind of like, hey, man, you got to make sure you bring that ball in. We're going to need you, not just for this year, but in the future. You're going to be the guys. You're going to have to catch that football for Caleb Williams. I know it comes in there 100 miles an hour, but, man, you know, you're the next generation of Bears on this team.
No, it was encouraging to see. I mean, I know DJ was sick today, so he was more of a decoy than anything else. But Loveland, Burton, and if Adunze can ever get on the field, you know, they're the future of this offense. So it was nice to see. And then DJ's going to be around for a little while too. But the future is bright. But while the future is still bright, we still want to win more games this year. We want to get a Super Bowl title. You know, if you make the dance, you have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. So we want, you know, an opportunity to win a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, man. Jordan Taylor, thank you so much for your contribution as well. Jordan Taylor checking in on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Yeah, we do our super chats, and please leave a question or a comment so we can bring it right to the top. So just thank you so much. Jordan from Boise, that's it. Calls the Under the Hood, calls the Captain J Hood show. Jordan from Boise, yeah. He says, all I want to say is no one wants to see us in the playoffs, whether it's Soldier Field or away. Well, that's true because you have the penchant to be able to come back in games like you did in this one. You're right there on the doorstep again for another comeback for the Chicago Bears. And so if anyone tells you the Bears suck or to say it's not the same old Bears, it's clearly not. You have to be an idiot or an asshole to not understand like it's a different dynamic with this team offensively. Now, again, we're not there yet. And I have not gone to those chats talking about the draft and what's needed. Like, I'm not concerned about that shit right now. Please. I got plenty of emails from ourlads.com that's just waiting for me to open up the file, Cuzzo, for me to, because they're used to send it to me in December, right? Because they know the Bears are usually out of it. So my guys at Our Lads send me like the draft stack and all the stuff from the Senior Bowl for me to talk about on the air. I haven't even opened those emails. The Bears are going to the playoffs. I don't need to talk about the draft yet. So, like, I don't need that packet to open. I'll send it to you if you like to look at it. I'll forward it to you, but I don't need to see draft stuff in December going into January because the Bears are going to the playoffs. So we can talk about the draft and what the Bears' needs are when the season's over. Right now, I'm focused on how the team can get on the straight and narrow here, getting ready for the playoffs.
No, I mean, yeah, and that's what's great about this year is the Bears, an upstart team, took the North. Hopefully, we don't give it back. And we're looking at a lot of young pieces who have. There we go. Bow down. Bow down when you come to our town.
For our podcast listeners, I did a couple of these for Wiley in particular because he loves these memes. There is Caleb Williams with his sword, and he's got his his crown on and a cape, not like James Brown cape, but like a Roman cape. And then there's the cheeseheads bowing down into the dirt as the Iceman with his sword into the Soldier Field surface. The King of the North. There you go. You like that one?
I love it. Now, only thing would make it better is a few beheadings with that sword. So we'll work on that.
Oh my God. Well, here's another one for you. There's the NFC North champion Chicago Bears. Hats off to the Bears because they won the North. We found that out Saturday night when Green Bay lost to the Baltimore Ravens. And, despite this game, Cuzzo, I couldn't be happier for the Chicago Bears that they fought to be able to be in this position right now, that they scratched and clawed to be able to win ball games, to earn their right to be NFC North champions. And, I'm happy for Ben Johnson and the staff. I know they're disappointed in the loss because they were this close to beating San Francisco because that would have been a notch in the belt. another notch in the belt, just kind of show everybody who you are. But also in the loss, I think that they have shown the nation, like, yeah, we're in a game in which is so hard to win for whatever reason historically for the Bears in San Francisco. Yeah, they're around the doorstep of win the ball game. It's still a loss, but I love the moxie and the poise of the Bears offense to keep the team in the game.
No, I agree, and we still don't the ceiling of this team and the offense is yet. That's what's so encouraging about this run. We've won the North. We with a win on Sunday, next Sunday we'll own the second seed in the conference, and it's for a team that hasn't played at its peak yet. So Ben Johnson says, repeatedly that when we get to the playoffs, we're going to be peaking. I would love to see what that looks like. I would love to see what that looks like. Also defensively to see an improved defense. So I hope the Bears take some time in the next week or so and do some self-scouting, especially defensively, because like the future is bright overall, but I still want to win a Super Bowl this year because you don't get many bites at the apple. And right. I believe the NFC is winnable this year. And that's not true every year because sometimes it's just that team, like, hey, this team is just so much better than everyone else. We have no chance of beating them. I think the Bears can beat any team in the playoffs this year. So why not make a run to Super Bowl this year? So, and in order to do that, you have to clean up things defensively. And obviously, if the offense scores 40 points a game, we're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, if nothing else, and I know that some people watching under the hood are so concerned with what the national media says. And you know me, I couldn't care less. Like, and some of the national media are my friends in the business, my colleagues in the business I've known for 20 plus years. But ultimately, what matters is how you feel about the Bears. Some people just can't wait to let me turn on the TV. Where's my? Let me turn on the TV. I got to watch First Take, right? I got to find out what they're saying on Get Up. What are they saying on First Things First about my team on F? Like, man, it does not matter. You know what matters is that your opinion matters about the Chicago Bears. Your opinion matters, and if you are one of those that seek what people say on social media and national media about your Bears, here's one thing they can't say. They can't say that the Bears laid down against one of the best teams in the NFC, one of the best coach teams in the NFC, in Shanahan and San Francisco. They can't say that. So if anyone tells you, like, well, the Bears played down and they underachieved, and that's not what happened. They went step for step with the 49ers, a well-oiled machine. Shanahan has proved that his system works. His system works, right? It's Brock Purdy. He's dancing like he's Montana back there every time he scored a touchdown. You know why? Because the system works. Without Kittle, with McCaffrey, without McCaffrey, without offensive linemen, that system works. They pick apart a defense, and they did that tonight against the Chicago Bears. But the Bears still went step for step with them. And that's why it bugs me that the Bears couldn't even make several stops in a row to slow down this offense of San Francisco to open the door for the Bears. But the Bears don't need to take a step back from anybody because if nothing else, you know what it told you? This offense can score. You give Caleb a clean pocket, which he got a lot tonight. A lot of clean pockets. Let me double check. No sacks for him. Clean. No sacks tonight, right? No interceptions. 0-0. That's what you want because it gives the quarterback an opportunity, Cuzzo, to be able to get the ball down the field. How he was able to get that ball just with a flick of the wrist to Burton. Holy shit. It's like, man, if he's got time, he'll zip it. We thought the DJ Moore play was dramatic and magical. The way he just flicked the ball down the field, boom, touchdown. He can do that. It's more than just the nickel dime stuff underneath. That guy, if he gets an opportunity, he will beat a defense. He'll beat a secondary. So that's what teams should be wary of, right? That he can do that. Every game's not 16-7. You're digging out from underneath. No. Give him some time, and he'll be able to connect to his weapons as he did tonight against San Francisco.
No, he was to me, he was fantastic, particularly in the second half. And we were talking about a Bears team that wasn't expected to do much by by many. It's a resilient bunch. It's a resilient bunch. You have a team. They missed 299. They have players who missed 299 games due to injury. That's the most in NFL, almost by far. And they still found ways to win games. They still found ways to put themselves in position to win games. They've been in position to win, virtually every game this year, except obviously the Lions game. So you can't ask.
Yes, you were saying you can't ask what?
For more. You can't ask for more than this to win.
Mm-hmm. There's no question about that. There's no doubt. We've got more super chats coming in, Wiley, that we have. Eric Collins. Eric Collins tells me to get some real water like Ice Mountain or Core. Eric, because I'm a morning show host, I have all three. So I actually have all three water. I have outside this door. I have Ice Mountain and Core, and I have Saratoga water. So I can afford all three. But thank you for.
Eric,
so you're saying?
I'm disappointed in Cutler for different reasons. He's drinking water, and I mean I want to see him drink some alcohol, but he's drinking water, so I'm a little disappointed in that. But
oh really?
Yeah.
Really? You're disappointed in me because I'm drinking water? Stand in line. Everyone's disappointed in me. Stand in line.
More alcohol.
I'm a professional, sir. Someone's got to drive this show. You? It ain't gonna be you. So no, absolutely not. Normally, what mode I'm in, but tonight, because I have a quick turnaround, that's not happening. You know why? I'm a professional, and I have to drive in the morning. In a few hours, I have to drive. So that's why that's happening. So when Lily Jumper asks, am I on in the morning? Yes, I am. 6 a.m. on Cap and J Hood. Yes, I will be. Absolutely. On ESPN 1000, on the ESPN Chicago app, we will review this game like we're doing here Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Thank you so much for supporting the show. So are you prepared to do a prediction for the Detroit game? Do you want to predict this game? Let me just, before we do that, let's just do this. Let's throw this out here before anyone else does. Because there's a possibility maybe Caleb does not start this last game. What do you think? Do you think that Tyson Bagent starts the Detroit game? Is it necessary for Caleb to play the entire game? Let's start there. Do you think that all the stars should play the entire game against Detroit? Because that will be a talking point this week. So I figure we start off first.
So, well, it depends on when the Eagles play, because the Bears need to win a game or have the Eagles lose a game to wrap up the number 2 seed in the conference. And the Eagles play. Oh, they play at the same time the Bears are playing. So Caleb will definitely start the game because the Eagles are playing the Commanders at the same time the Bears are playing the Lions. And the Eagles need the Bears to lose, and they beat the Commanders to get to the number 2 seed. The Bears need to win the game, or the Eagles lose their game against the Commanders to wrap up the number 2 seed, which I think it's more likely the Bears beat the Lions than the Commanders beat the Eagles. So we're going to need a solid performance from the offense and the defense, in order to wrap up the number 2 seed.
I guess the reason why I asked the question is because with Dan Campbell, I'm sure that he's going to do whatever he can to win this game, right? Kind of like, was it a year ago, a couple years ago, they had nothing to play for. It was 2 years ago. They had nothing to play for, and they knocked Green Bay out. Remember that? Yeah. They didn't have to. It was in Lambeau, and I remember Dan Campbell was like, no, we're going through. And same thing here with this game. I was just wondering, what the importance for Ben Johnson, the Bears. Is everyone playing the entire game? Do some people come in and out? I guess it depends on what you say with the seating, right? Because I guess for them it's important. Yes.
Yeah, because they want to have home field advantage in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. So if they win, they guarantee themselves home field advantage into the NFC Championship game. And I think having teams like the Rams possibly coming to Soldier Field in January is important as opposed to going on a road to playing some of those teams. So, yeah, I think it'll be really important to get that top seed or that second seed in the conference.
Kind of think that Ben Johnson wants his lick back too.
Yeah.
Like I think he wants to, after being humiliated in week 2, I think that Ben Johnson would like to finish the regular season with a win against his former team. Now, it's not a make or break for the season, but I would imagine Ben Johnson is a little pissed off because the Detroit Lions said, "Oh, it's Ben Johnson who left us," right? And the thought in Detroit was that Ben Johnson got a little bit too much credit, which is interesting. From my Detroit friends, that's what I hear, is that Ben Johnson walked around the facility as if he was the reason why Detroit had that great record, and so the Lions wanted to stick it up his ass, and they did, as you well know. I don't consider running up the score. You got to make stops, right? And so, but still, I think they put a little extra on Ben Johnson, and so Ben, I'm sure, like to even that score 1-1 in the regular season against the Lions.
No, and I think he will. I think he will definitely get an opportunity. Well, I think obviously he'll get the opportunity, but I think he will even the score against the last place Detroit Lions. It's where we've known them to be at most of our lives, and they're back there again.
This is a great. We're gonna get your prediction, but is that Rifle Hunger 4341
Yep.
says heartbreaking, nail biting, blood boiling victory. Yeah, it's something, man. They had an opportunity to win that football game, the Bears, and again, falling short. I'm just glad that the offense is going to scare some people. They're going to scare some people, running the football, Caleb's arm, offensive line like an iron gate, giving Caleb time, lanes to run, and also time to throw. Yeah, that was very encouraging tonight. I just wish the defense could match what the offense brought to the table. So, Cuzzo, it's Detroit. It's the last game of the regular season. Would you please give your prediction for this game? I will lay out, and I will let you talk to the Under the Hood audience. Gather around. Here we go.
All right, gather around, boys and girls. The last game of the regular season. The Bears are fighting for the number 2 seed in the conference. They're facing the lowly Detroit Lions, last place Detroit Lions. There's a lot on the line. Obviously, number 2 seed. Caleb needs 270 yards to be the first Bears quarterback to have 4,000 yards passing. And the Bears want to finish 3-3 in the conference. So we're going to Soldier Field, Lions Dome team, playing out in the cold. They have nothing to play for. Jared Goff, is basically ready to go on his second honeymoon with his lovely wife. Bears win 42-20. Bear down.
Cuzzo, how will the Bears score 42 points against the Lions? How's that happening? Is that UPS? Is that FedEx? How will they get the ball in the end zone that many times? Are you saying that the Lions defense is like the 49ers defense under Robert Saleh?
Yes. And I also saw Jared Goff turn the ball over 5 times against the lowly Vikings. Mm-hmm. And they got their brains beat in despite the Vikings quarterback, or I'm not even sure you can really call him a quarterback, having 6 total yards passing. So I imagine Caleb can, perform slightly better than 6 total yards passing. And with the help of Jared Goff, who recognizes the season is over, we can score 40-plus points. And we know Ben Johnson wants to run the score up because he wants to get back at Dan Campbell and the Lions for what they did to him in the second week of the season. So, yeah. 40 burger.
A lot of points, Cuzzo. A lot of points.
Lions can't stop anything, especially when it comes to the run. So, cold weather game for a dome team that has nothing to play for, they'll check out early. They'll check out early.
Here's the look right here, Cuzzo. This is what you're looking at right here. The NFC North division winners the last 20 years. That's what it looks like. We have the graphic here if you're listening on the podcast. The Bears have it. They're the NFC North champions. I'm overjoyed for that. But before that, the Lions a couple of times, the Vikings in 2022, and 2020 and 2021, the Green Bay Packers, 2019, the Green Bay Packers. Bears have not been there since 2018. Shows you how tough the division is. Shows you how the Lions have been able to take advantage for a while here. But the Bears need to be able to continue that momentum. They've got the North, great, but it is a dogfight. It is difficult. And, I'm sure these Bears players realize it has not been easy because, those come from behind victories. There is luck involved. There's skill involved. There's execution involved. There's coaching, all of that to scratch and claw to be able to get to where they are. But this game against Detroit, you want to finish strong into the playoffs. Green Bay, by the way, as I was driving back from AEW Wrestling on Saturday night, I turned on ESPN Milwaukee, our sister station, and I'm listening to them talk about nothing matters except Chicago. We're on to Chicago. That's all they care about. They lose against the Ravens. They were like, we're on to Chicago. They are so desperate to get back at the Bears for that loss, that embarrassing loss that they had, right? They want to get back. And so whatever their focus is fine, but the Bears just have to get right for this Detroit game and then get ready for the playoffs. And if it's the Packers, let's go. I'm not skipping steps. Let's go.
Caleb, 1 division title. Love, 0 division titles.
I saw that today. Yes. Yes. 1-0. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, man. All right. So we got the predictions in. If you have any further thoughts, we've got super chats. Lock in your super chat. We'll put your question right to the top. But as we wrap up things, make sure you keep it locked because we're going to have coverage, as we always do on Under the Hood, all week, getting ready for the Lions game. So make sure that you subscribe to Under the Hood with Jonathan, whether the podcast or the YouTube. We just want you to get locked in because we got so much more content to give you. And so check it out.
And please be sure when you get an opportunity, obviously like, comment, but also hype Cuzzo's podcast, throughout the week. So you can hype the podcast, it'll move it up some lists, so other people can have the opportunity to listen and enjoy the same content that you enjoy yourself. So be sure to hype the podcast once it's uploaded.
I know 49ers fans have no other place to go because they don't really, I guess there's no podcast for them to go to, nowhere to celebrate the victory against the Bears. So they come to Under the Hood. And so we get 49ers fan, great handle. 49ers fan with 2 N's and then fan. Belt to ass, go Niners. Was it really? Was it really? I guess they would be the discipline in 2025 with kids. Belt to ass was what me and Wiley dealt with in the 70s and 80s. Okay, that's a real whooping. Okay, belt to ass does not work for this game. This 42-38 victory. 49ers won the football game, but just barely. So, unfortunately, unless you're talking
rainbows and lollipops.
Oh yes, unless you are. Come on, Billy. You got to come on. I've asked you 8 times, Billy. You got to come to the car. If that's belt to ass. That's what that was in 2025. It's not an actual auntie taking out a belt and actually whooping your ass to get to the car like it was back in the day. So if you consider that being the discipline for kids in 2025, come on, Billy, no, you can't buy okay, put it in the cart. I mean, that's your
you're
belt
disappointing mommy.
Yeah,
you're disappointing mommy. Yeah. That's
right. Because that's what that loss was. That was, come on, Jimmy, oh my God. That's the belt to ass you're talking about. So thanks a lot. Thanks for your contribution. Parental justice in 2025. Billy, I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to say it again. That's what that loss was today to us.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, man. Yeah, Eric Collins is listening too. And thank you very much for your super chat, sir. He says, so true that fans on ESPN Milwaukee on TMJ were willing to sacrifice Sunday to play the Bears. That is true.
We'll give them what they want. If they're there, we'll give them what they want.
Yeah.
We'll give them everything they want.
Kolb says, I can't even be mad about this loss, man. We had our chance, but it shows that you can hang with around anyone in the league. I'm mad at the defense, Kolb. And so is Wiley. We're mad at the defense. You're disappointed at the Bears anytime the Bears lose, but you had a chance to win that football game, but the defense was so bad that the Bears, even with an opportunity to score at the end, and Ben Johnson said it early, because I wish I would have called a better play. I put it on me. Dude, the offense put up so much. They should have been you put up 38 points, you should win games in the National Football League. You should. But if you give a 42, you can't. You can't win games that way. So I totally get it. I get it. So that's it, everybody. I'll be on Monday morning only this week on Cap and J Hood. We'll review it between 6 and 9 a.m. Central on ESPN 1000. Download the ESPN Chicago app. And if you're here, please subscribe to Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, or share this with other people, because there's a lot more Bears content, a lot on the college football playoff as well that we'll have this week with several guests. And we're going to get you ready for Bears and Lions, Cuzzo. There's a lot more here under the hood, as you well know.
Happy New Year's, Cuzzo.
Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to everyone listening and watching the podcast. So for Cousin Wiley, this is Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for checking us out. We're presented by our good friends over at Triller TV. Triller TV has been so good to us. We want you to be good to them. Just go to the website, go to Triller TV, download the app, and there's something for you. You're a boxing fan, you like your MMA, you like your pro wrestling internationally and domestically, they got it at Triller TV. All right, keep it locked here under the hood with Jonathan Hood. So long, everybody, from Chicago.